I was thinking, since we rescued our soldiers from the Avar and the Foul Mire, might as well continue on to the Hinterlands and go finish up our business there with the Mage and Templar rebellion, and we still need to go see our Horsemaster and do some quests for his people. And then essentially once we brought stability back to the region, we can go back to Corporal Vale, get a reward, maybe even get some agents working for us to help the cause. So before I head out of here, what I'm going to do is look through this new nifty stuff that I got from the Avar, like this axe that their leader dropped, that big crazy horned guy. And, you know, I was going to pass this greatsword along to Iron Bowl, but even though it's a pretty good increase in damage, he has this cool AoE thing that he gets when he kills somebody with that thing. And, you know, I'm going to keep that for right now. The AoE doesn't have friendly fire on it either. I hope that's something I can craft into a weapon much later. Not necessarily for myself, but for my followers. Alright, so what I do with armor is I find, of course, the best sets, and I kind of pass them along down. Each person gets the next best set, and then whatever's left, I take note of what that armor rating is, and then anything that is that rating on down, I know is going to be in the junk pile, so I can go to my my armor bench and strip all the junk of all the upgrades that are on it. Then I can go look through the armor that I'm actually using, put on or switch out any upgrades that actually apply, and then sell all the rest. Not only all the junk armor, but then the upgrades also, because they take up inventory space. And I find that I don't have much problem with inventory in the game, even though I haven't upgraded it yet, and probably won't for a long time. There's a lot of other perks I'm going to get first. Still don't have much problem. Of course, I'm in a habit of, in all the RPGs I play, hitting merchants early and often. I tend to, basically between each quest, each mission, each everything, go and upgrade what I can, craft what I need, filter through my stuff, see if I've gotten anything new, and I tend to find that I almost never really buy anything either. I mean, I'll buy things that I need from merchants, especially like materials and things, but as far as like one particular weapon that it does 5 more damage than the one I'm doing, I'll just wait till I find something, or I'll wait till I can make it. Most of the time, if that's an option, very seldom do I just go buy things on a whim. Not much window shopping in my gameplay. Tend to save my gold. I hoard it. I don't know if that's a conscious thing. It's, you know, I don't know. Look at this axe. Isn't that, man? That thing, it just looks nasty, man. I love that each material you use gives your weapon or gear a slightly different color, too. I mean, and every little add-on, all the upgrades, will change it also. Like, you can put a new hilt on a sword, and that hilt will show. I mean, it'd be completely different. Very cool. It's gonna be nice making weapons with, like, obsidian and stuff like that. My creator, judge me whole. Find me where Speaking of obsidian, I still need some obsidian for my dwarven puzzle box requisition thing. Yeah. That's going to be sitting in my back pocket for a while. I know there's a place to get it in the Hinterlands, but I'm not going to try to sneak my way past level 12 enemies to get it. Not right now. I'm not that desperate for it. But it would be nice to have. Alright, so we have our basic knowledge perks picked. And my next one, that's the one I'm going to want right there. Deft hands and fine tools. And then we'll go for stuff like extra potion slot. Maybe extra damage resistance for the whole party. You know, stuff like that. Who knows what else. There's an Amulet of Power. Never know when those are going to pop up in these little side missions. And each one of those gives one of your party members an extra ability point. That's pretty huge. I haven't ever found one for my character, though. I know there's an Inquisition perk for one extra ability point. But I'm wondering if there's an Amulet of Power out there somewhere with my name on it. So I haven't finished the game, so there's going to be a bit that I'll be doing in the blind. You know, later in the game. I've gotten up to, well, maybe the midway point. I don't know. I don't know exactly how far along I was, but I was being pretty thorough, so level-wise, I was towards the end, but game-wise, I don't think I was much beyond halfway, if I was even halfway into the game, considering how many quests and areas are available. Lots of places I haven't even explored yet, so there'll be stuff I'll be finding and learning that's new. And, of course, that's kind of bad news, too, is that I'll be doing a lot of snooping around in corners in brand new areas, because I really don't want to miss cool things. And some of those cool things aren't just items that I can use,
Does anybody else smell that?
but it might be a
Seriously,
codex
just
or
me?
some little bit of information or some really cool, neat thing that really adds to the lore of the game. And I don't want to miss that stuff either. I'm not necessarily going for a completionist on this. I don't know if I'll do that to you guys, but I do like to be pretty thorough. It's just habit. If there's a corner over there, the corner you don't look in is the one that had the thing that you really wanted. That's kind of the way it goes. So if you look in every corner, it's, you know, won't miss anything type of thing. Alright, so kind of follow my ritual route here. Get my royal elf root and some other elf roots. That's too many goodies in one spot for me to pass up. And now that I have Blackwell with me, and I did bother to talk to him. I didn't go through all his dialogue because he had some codexes to unlock, which I'll get later. There will be a complete series of videos with all the companion dialogues, at least up to that point. It's going to be not too far from now, and I'm just going to do them in order. And essentially, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go exhaust their dialogue and talk to them or respond to them in such a way to try to get as much approval as I can from them, type of thing. Some of them are actually really funny. A lot of conversational stuff that's it's pretty cool. And they'll all be labeled accordingly if you want to skip them, because that's all they'll be. There'll be no, you know, talk a little bit, go fight a boss, and come back and talk a little bit. There won't be any of that. It'll be, you know, I'm going to stop in Haven at some point and literally go from companion to companion and exhaust their dialogue and get all the codexes I can from them. Like right off the top of my head, I think Iron Bull himself has 7 or 8 codexes in his dialogue. The first time you talk to him, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. It's at least half a dozen of them.
The Inquisition could benefit from this.
And there we go. Got some major brownie points with Blackwell right there. Kind of having an idea what their personal quests are. It's kind of a good idea to bring them along, get extra approval when they're present. But I'll go from companion to companion, do all the dialogue, and then I'm also going to grab all the codexes in Haven, essentially all at the same time, and it's going to be a lot of XP, quite a bit. Probably maybe 30 codexes at 150 XP a piece. That's just kind of a guess. Something like that. Alright, got a few elf roots. I'm stuck in third person. These trees can throw some good interference, can't they? Can't see anything. Just guess and swing in that direction, I guess, right? So there. Alright, so we got Blackwall, his Warden Treaty, or whatever it was, hidden right there. Some kind of Warden item. And then, over here, I wonder if these Templars were hunting? Oh no, I know what it was. Varric shot one of them with long shot, and the upgrade for long shot allows it to carry through every enemy along its path. And yeah, the poor little animals usually get caught in that kind of crossfire. So while we're right here, before we head down there to go deal with mages or Templars, I think we'll do Templars first, because they're kind of on the way to the Red Cliff Farms. So grab these. Always keep in mind the jar of bees. I'm going to need a blood lotus for every jar of bees that I want, so those things are actually pretty fun. Nice to have a bunch of these in my back pocket. Also a lot of magic shards to collect down here. Forgot about. We've located them all with the little skull stick thingies, the ocularum. Just haven't gone to get them yet, so... Alright.
The apostates are out of control.
The Templars aren't looking any better here.
Yeah, good point. They both lost their minds. You know, okay, the mages supposedly wanted quote-unquote freedom, and the Templars wanted to purge the mages because, of course, they, you know, find any excuse that they can to immediately start summoning demons and killing everybody. Alright, so they both feel they're justified in killing each other, but what point do they have of killing absolutely everybody else, too? Like, if it's moving, they try to kill it. Not just each other. In fact, they'll stop what they're doing to kill you and each other, too. They've completely lost their minds, and, this isn't any cause that they're fighting for here. This is them having completely they're out of control.
Move on. We can only restore order by securing an alliance.
I think this is when you say, man, what are you tripping on? That's where that comes into play. What are you guys tripping on? Once we get one side down, there may be a few more of the other, but not as many as both of these put together. In other words, right now you can't walk 10 feet without a mess of mages and Templars. Once you can get one side out of the way, it kind of chills out a little bit. A little bit. We've pretty much out-leveled these guys, though. Which is cool, because it's not just going to give me, like, you know, 40, 50 XP for each one either. Now I'm getting probably, what, 6, 7, 8? Stuff like that, so... not a biggie. Alright, now notice, 150 apiece. And there is still, oh geez, what, 20 or 30 codexes at Val Royeaux that I can go pick up at my leisure now. And on top of that, there's also another Inquisition perk, and it's retroactive, so it doesn't really matter when I pick it, as long as I pick it at some point. Probably at the very end of the game, it'll probably be the last perk I pick, and it's extra XP for every monster you've discovered, for every enemy that you've fought. And I mean every enemy, whether it's a bandit, to a dragon, to a whatever, it doesn't matter. And it's retroactive. It's everyone you've discovered up to that point and then after that. And so that means they'll be worth, what, 175, 200, and there may be however many different enemies in the game. But it's probably good for a level or two. Even as much as a level is going to be once you get up into the 20s. It's probably still going to be good for at least a level at that point. Like I said, it'll be one of the last ones I worry about. In fact, if I get to the point where I know I'm towards the end, and I could level one more time, but I'm kind of short of a perk, I'll probably go like do some requisitions and stuff like that. Whatever it takes to get that one extra perk and hit that, see if I can't squeeze one more level out right before the end. And as big as this game is, I would think they're going to come out with DLC that's, I don't know, as big as the scope is on this game, I would imagine their DLCs are going to be huge also. DLCs have been pretty good in previous Dragon Age games. I don't see why this would be any different. And so I'd imagine even having an end-game or high-level character, if they come out with some decent DLC that scales up, that it would give you a lot to do, and it would make it worth having. Not a character that once you're done, you know, you just trash it. You could actually keep it and save it for future gameplay. At least I'm hoping. I was about to say eat dirt. Nice. Now this, I don't have to be doing this. We could just Rambo in here. These guys are a little underleveled, but this is a if you come in here underleveled, or even at your level on Nightmare, these guys can be a little annoying, especially the archers and stuff. If you don't get both those guys before they come in, before they back in through the door, they'll be in there also, and they start laying down covering fire, and then you have a champion in here that's going to get after you too. And so you can essentially stay back with an archer, and as long as you don't get in certain range of them, the AI doesn't really trigger. But But yeah, you combine these guys right here with a few extra archers, and it can be pretty nasty early on. Low level, it can be really nasty. I think some of those one-handed guys that have just a sword, I think they have as much health as these champions do. Seems like it. Armor rating must be really high. I'll point out I did keep in mind who I had in my party. A lot of times I like to have Sarah when I'm doing stuff because you can get brownie points by helping people with her. Depends on who you're helping, especially when you're helping the little guys, like, you know, the refugees or something. But right now, Solus is cool anytime you reactivate one of his little elven artifacts. Blackwall needed his Warden treaty thing, or whatever we found for him. And then Varric gives you a lot of brownie points for breaking his red lyrium deposits, like we just did right there. And so that's why I have these guys in my party specifically. Nice move, dude. It's amazing how with not even 10% of the number of commands that you can give your party members, like you could in the first Dragon Age games, they've really streamlined it. Like, instead of, you know, 20 different tactic slots or something, now you have essentially one. You know, it's a whole lot more simple. But your AI, in general, acts twice as good. Actually doing their job. I guess they have a lot of it just pre-programmed to kind of default things that everyone's going to do, so why even bother making you set it? It's kind of for you. Me personally, I kind of liked being able to tweak the tactics a little bit, to fine-tune your party's actions and AI when you weren't controlling them. That was kind of a big part of it to me, but I think there was some struggle with that. And so I guess they, to make the game, what's the new popular thing now with games? To make them more accessible. If somebody's having a hard time with it, make it easy for them. Instead of overcoming the challenge to figure it out, just take the challenge out of it and call it something else, so everyone can still feel like they're being a badass with 1/10 the knowledge or skill of the game, so that anybody can come in and play, point forward, hold trigger, press button, you win. They haven't completely dumbed this one down like that, but as far as the AI tactics, yeah, well, true enough, they act well. I mean, they do their job most of the time. You notice, like, my tank is tanking. He's doing his thing. He's doing what I asked him to do. At least they do have the favorite or don't use it all part of the abilities. Like, you can decide whether your tank's going to be offense or defense. For example, is he going to spam War Cry and Challenge to keep the hate and keep his guard up, or is he going to spam like Payback Strike and Shield Bash and whatever, Lunge and Slash, which doesn't apply here because it's a friendly fire ability, but you know, stuff like that, and or are you going to make him offensive? And so it still leaves room for error. For, you know, if your party's not acting right, that may be a big part of it. Is even then, as simple as the tactics have been made, it's still possible to kind of flub them up a little bit in trying to make what I would call a jack of all trades character, like trying to make your tank an offensive specialist. For true party, I would call synergy. For your tank to really do its job, it's there, kind of like your mage is. It's as much of a battery as it is a damage sponge, in terms of your tank. On top of everything it does, should be drawing hate to itself, and your tank should be keeping its guard and armor up, but it should also be buffing the rest of the party with those types of things, and maybe even damage bonuses, like best passive in the game, in my opinion, so far that I've seen is Cutting Words, where any taunted enemy takes 20% extra damage from all sources. Well, I'm playing a warrior and having a tank with me, that's 40% extra damage. Okay? Because if I'm running that passive also, then essentially the entire party should be doing 40% more damage to all enemies on the battlefield as long as they're taunted. Well, if I have my tank spamming Warcry, then enemies should, for the most part, be taunted all the time. Warcry, he should be able to pretty much hit him with another Warcry or challenge about the time that the last Warcry wore off. Maybe with a couple second difference, but for the most part, just about all the time, enemies should be taunted. And their attention should be drawn towards him, so that even gives you more openings for, say, a rogue to come in, which gets all kinds of bonus damage and critical buffs for attacking from behind and stuff. Well, hell, if the enemies are constantly concentrated on your tank, then that should be a no-brainer, you know? Shouldn't be any problem at all. But if I have my tank only occasionally doing challenge, but say favoriting or spamming an offensive ability or something, my tank's very rarely going to have enough stamina to use Warcry, and so it's going to draw a lot less hate and to himself or herself, and also have a lot less guard. Because remember, each time they use challenge and Warcry, they also build guard for themselves. Then if you raise their armor rating and give them buffs for that, then their guard is 10 times more effective, and they become essentially invincible. I mean, not exactly, but they can, I mean, really, really take the pain like a champ, and you can go about doing your thing. But if they're not doing that, odds are your tactics are not favoriting the abilities particular to that party member's job. What have you assigned them to do? What do you want them to do specifically? And if you're going to have them do one thing and not do another, then someone else needs to cover where they're lacking. Anyway, just a little thought on party tactics. If your party's not acting right, that's probably why. Favorited and inactive abilities have a lot to do with that. One of these guys is the Chief Templar, and I can't really tell. They all seem kind of tough to me. Probably that guy right there. Solus is down. I'm down too. Yep. Could have drank a potion, but I was too busy flapping my gums.
The apostates will still be a problem.
Alright. One downside to coming to this later is this is a great loot area. It's nice to hit early, actually. Good source of all kinds of things. There's one guaranteed drop. I hope it's right here. I don't know where that boss died. Yeah, there it is. The Swedish fingers. Yes, massage somebody with your sword. That's guaranteed. I've gotten it every time from this guy, from this Templar captain or whatever he is. And it's probably I probably out-leveled it now, but early on in the game, it's actually nice to have. In fact, if you're wondering where to get a beginning game sword around, like, say, level 3, 4, or 5, then this would be the place to go. Go knock out the Templar camp early. We also have a treasure map that we got up there by the lake campsite, where all the Blood Lotus are, and it leads right back here. Sweet. Now that comes in handy later on dealing with masterwork gear. I think the effect of Ironbark is to give you a small percent chance to add extra stats to anything you make. Like if you're going to make something worth that has, say, 200 damage, for example, a weapon that has 200 damage, you have a percent chance, it's almost like critical crafting, to make it, say, a 210 or 220 or 240 point weapon instead, you know, whatever the case may be. I don't remember exactly what percentage you have a chance of adding. I think it's 10% to all stats. So if it was a 200 point 200 damage weapon, then you would make it a 220, for example. Anyway. And apparently switching to another character when they haven't bothered to follow you sends you all the way back to where they were. Alright, well, whatever. You need to go down here. There's a chest hidden down here behind this tree. And if it's there, then it's mine. I have to have it. I must have all loot. Yes. Alright, and this broken bridge, which is actually the landmark for that treasure map, just on the other side of this. Now we're in the Red Cliff Farms area. That's going to send us to a little thing over there by the, oh, what would you call them? The mercenaries. We picked up some mercenary notes on the East Road, trying to keep us out of that area, right? Now we're over here on the West Road, and we will go down into some woods later on. What are they called? Hafters Woods? Anyway, go down there, and there's a large fort-type area. And behind that, where you turn that letter back in, it's kind of like a little side quest type deal. I'm going to point something out. We find out that these wolves are possessed, okay? That's why they're attacking everything in sight. We're going to find that out shortly from the Horsemaster's wife, okay? The way they're acting is identical to the way the Templars and the mages are acting. They're attacking everything on sight.
Have madness in their eyes.
The breach may have driven them mad, or perhaps a demon took command of the pack.
Alright, so just thinking about that. Whether the demons are or whether the mages are summoning demons, or the Templars are becoming demons or not, either way, they're still being controlled by. Just a little side note.
I believe I sense one of the artifacts of my people.
Alright, so this is why I bring Solus, for example.
Excellent. The wards are functioning again.
A little more influence. We got a ways to go on that one, don't we? Alright, and then over in this general direction, down there by that little pond, is another campsite.
Those Red Templars. How could any soldier let that happen to him?
They were Templars.
I suppose you might look down upon them as a mage.
It is not looking down upon them to recognize what they are. Some, like Sir Barris, are thoughtful soldiers doing what they believe is right. The rest, younger sons, petty criminals, thugs, bullies, orphans, either they are accustomed to a life without choices, to following even the worst orders, or they have learned to enjoy causing pain, to leap at any chance to swing a sword harder.
That's just the way it is. It's not stereotyping or anything else, it's just experience. It's what they do and how they do it, and you take the majority cases and you say, well, doesn't apply to everybody. No, you have individuals, you separate them out. But you can still take the whole as a whole. You know, Templars do what Templars do. Not a whole lot different than mages. Alright, thanks for watching. Remember to hit that thumbs up if you liked it, and if you want to subscribe, hit that button over my head, and for the rest of my Inquisition, click the top box, and for all my videos, click the bottom ones. I will catch you guys later. Bye-bye.